As the drone flies over the forest, you can't help but feel like you're in the middle of a Silent Hill game. A lone traveler sought shelter from a storm. He stumbled upon an inn nestled deep within a shadowy forest. The innkeeper, a woman with eyes like polished jade, welcomed him with a chilling smile. He took a room, the only guest in the desolate inn. The wind howled outside, rattling the ancient windows. Whispers seemed to emanate from the walls, chilling him to the bone. He tried to ignore them, but the whispers grew louder, more insistent. Sleep evaded him. The jade-eyed innkeeper stood at the foot of his bed, her smile now a predatory grin. The inn stands empty now, a testament to the chilling tale. The wind carries the scent of jasmine and decay, a haunting reminder of the traveler's fate. But some say, if you listen closely, the whispers reveal a different story. Was the innkeeper truly human, or something far more sinister? Perhaps the Whispering Inn is not just a place, but a living entity feeding on the fears of those who dare to enter. A vibrant festival filled the streets of a secluded village. Lanterns painted with fox faces swayed in the night breeze. Music filled the air, a strange melody, both alluring and unsettling. The villagers, their faces masked, danced with an almost frantic energy. A young woman, an outsider, watched with fascination. She was drawn to the energy, the mystery of the masked faces. A masked figure, taller than the rest, extended a hand towards her. His eyes, visible through the fox mask, held an ancient wisdom. She took his hand, joining the swirling dance. The music intensified, the lanterns pulsed with an otherworldly light. She felt a strange shift, a blurring of reality. The masked figures seemed to multiply, their fox masks transforming into snarling faces. The music stopped abruptly. Silence descended upon the village. The lanterns flickered and died, plunging the streets into darkness. The young woman stood alone. The masked figures vanished. The festival was gone, leaving only an echoing silence and the chilling realization that she was no longer in the village she knew. A sprawling city, shrouded in perpetual twilight. Whispers drifted through the alleyways, carrying secrets and lies. The inhabitants, pale and gaunt, moved like shadows through the streets. A detective investigated a series of disappearances. Each victim had last been seen near a statue of a nine-tailed fox. He scoffed at the superstitious whispers. His investigation led him deeper into the city's underbelly. The whispers grew louder, weaving tales of a fox spirit. He dismissed them as folklore, but unease gnawed at him. One foggy night, he found himself before the fox statue. The whispers reached a crescendo, swirling around him. The statue's eyes glowed with an eerie light. He felt a cold hand on his shoulder, and the world dissolved into darkness. He became another whisper in the city, lost forever. An old fisherman lived a solitary life by a tranquil lake. One day, he caught a magnificent fish, its scales shimmering like gold. As he prepared to gut it, the fish transformed into a beautiful woman with fox-like eyes. She pleaded for her life, promising him riches beyond his wildest dreams. The fisherman, captivated by her beauty and the promise of wealth, agreed to let her go. She vanished into the lake, leaving behind a single golden scale. The fisherman sold the scale, becoming instantly wealthy. He built a grand house, but his newfound wealth brought him no happiness. He yearned for the fox woman, haunted by her captivating eyes. He returned to the lake, calling out her name. The water rippled, and the fox woman emerged, her eyes cold and distant. She reminded him of his broken promise, the greed that had consumed him. She dragged him into the depths of the lake, his cries swallowed by the water. The lake remained tranquil, its secrets hidden beneath the surface. Section 5. The Lost Trail. A group of hikers ventured deep into a remote mountain range. They ignored the warnings of the locals, tales of a fox spirit that guarded the mountains. They laughed at the superstitions, confident in their modern equipment and their rational minds. The trail, initially well marked, began to fade. The trees grew denser, the air colder. A strange mist descended, obscuring their vision. They realized they were lost, their compasses spinning wildly. Whispers echoed through the trees, mocking their arrogance. The mist thickened, taking on the shape of a giant fox. Its eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, its teeth bared in a menacing grin. Panic gripped the hikers. They scattered, each one running blindly through the mist. Their cries echoed through the mountains, growing fainter and fainter. The fox spirit watched, its eyes gleaming with amusement. The mountains remained silent, swallowing the lost hikers whole. Section 6. The Shadow in the Mirror. A young woman inherited an antique mirror from her grandmother. The mirror, framed in dark wood, had a strange, unsettling aura. She hung it in her bedroom, dismissing her unease as mere superstition. One night, she awoke to see a figure standing behind her in the mirror. The figure, shrouded in shadow, had eyes that glowed like embers. She screamed, but no sound escaped her lips. The figure stepped out of the mirror, its form solidifying into that of a beautiful woman with fox-like features. The woman felt a strange pull, a hypnotic allure. She couldn't move, couldn't speak. The fox spirit smiled, its eyes burning into her soul. It reached out, its hand cold and spectral. The woman's reflection in the mirror screamed, but the real woman felt only a strange sense of peace as the fox spirit enveloped her in shadow. The mirror reflected only an empty room. Section 7. The Kitsune's Curse. A brash young man mocked a small shrine dedicated to a kitsune, a fox spirit. He scoffed at the offerings, the prayers whispered by the locals. He saw only superstition, an archaic belief system. That night, he was plagued by nightmares. He dreamt of burning eyes, whispering voices, and a suffocating darkness. He awoke in a cold sweat, dismissing the dreams as mere indigestion. But the nightmares continued, growing more vivid, more terrifying. He began to see fleeting glimpses of a fox in the shadows, its eyes glowing with malevolent intent. His health deteriorated, his body racked with unexplained pain. He returned to the shrine, his arrogance replaced by fear. He begged for forgiveness, offering prayers and gifts. But the kitsune's wrath was unrelenting. The nightmares intensified, the fox's presence growing stronger. He wasted away, consumed by the curse, a testament to the power he had mocked. Section 8. Beneath the Cherry Blossoms. A young couple picnicked beneath a canopy of cherry blossoms. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blossoms and the sound of gentle laughter. They were oblivious to the ancient presence that watched them from the shadows. A beautiful woman, her eyes like polished obsidian, emerged from the shadows. She approached the couple, her movements graceful and fluid. She offered them sake, her voice like the rustling of leaves. The couple, entranced by her beauty, accepted the offered sake. They drank deeply, unaware of the potion's subtle effects. The world around them began to shift, the cherry blossoms turning a sickly shade of green. The fox spirit smiled, her eyes gleaming with amusement. The couple, lost in a hallucinatory haze, saw only visions of paradise. They danced beneath the twisted cherry blossoms, their laughter echoing through the silent grove. They danced until they collapsed, their bodies fading into the earth, nourishment for the ancient tree. Section 9. The Whispering Walls. An artist sought inspiration in an abandoned mansion. The mansion, rumored to be haunted by a fox spirit, stood on a windswept hill overlooking the sea. He dismissed the rumors, drawn to the mansion's eerie beauty. He set up his studio in the grand ballroom, its walls adorned with peeling wallpaper and faded portraits. He felt a strange energy in the room, a sense of being watched. The walls seemed to whisper, telling tales of past inhabitants and forgotten tragedies. His paintings took on a life of their own. The figures in his portraits seemed to move, their eyes following him. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, weaving themselves into his art. He became obsessed, driven by a force he couldn't understand. One stormy night, the walls began to bleed. The portraits screamed, their faces contorted in agony. The artist, lost in his madness, laughed along with them. He became part of the mansion, his spirit trapped within its whispering walls, another brushstroke in its macabre masterpiece. Section 10. The Foxfire's Glow. A scientist explored a bioluminescent cave, its walls glowing with an eerie green light. He believed the light was caused by a new species of fungus, a scientific marvel. He dismissed the local legends of foxfire, the ghostly glow attributed to fox spirits. He ventured deeper into the cave, fascinated by the otherworldly glow. The air grew thick, the silence broken only by the dripping of water. He felt a presence, a watching gaze. He turned to see a pair of glowing eyes in the darkness. The eyes grew larger, brighter, until they filled his vision. He felt a searing pain, a burning sensation that spread through his body. The foxfire, no mere fungus, consumed him. His screams echoed through the cave, swallowed by the darkness. The foxfire pulsed with a renewed intensity, its hunger sated. The cave remained silent, its secrets guarded by the ghostly glow.